showing you how we calculated the numbers for the life cycle assessments in Activity 9 with the 3 different types of furniture. Some of the data for the life cycle assessment came directly from the manufacturers themselves, the furniture manufacturers. We contacted them and got information about the inputs that they needed to manufacture the furniture and the energy requirements. We used the energy requirements to estimate how much greenhouse gases, carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide specifically, how much of that would have been produced to produce that amount of energy. And then we used the input information from those furniture manufacturing companies as a starting point to work with a database managed by the National Renewable Energy Laboratory. And this is their homepage here. This is the part of the Department of Education. They, in addition to providing a lot of great information on renewable energy, also provide information or provide this database, this LCI database. So you can see I'm typing in LCI database into the search engine here. LCI is life cycle inventory, so that tells us it's just the data, the raw data, not an assessment in and of itself. So when I click on the first choice there, we're now into the U.S. Life Cycle Inventory Database. This tells you a little bit about the project, and then if you click on Database over here, this brings you into the database itself. You can see there's over 2,000 records in here on lots of different types of processes. The categories run down the left-hand side, a few of the ones that we were particularly interested in. We've got primary metals manufacturing, plastic product manufacturing, and down here we've got wood product manufacturing. So we use mostly things from those, but as you'll see, we also had to use some of these other inputs as well. So let's look at the primary metal manufacturing. I'm just going to click on that. And that brings up 23 data sets based on 23 different parts of a process. And for us now, I'm going to go down and look at aluminum primary smelt at plant. So this tells us this is the step of the process where primary aluminum, that is non-recycled aluminum, is smelted at the plant. When we bring it up, we get a description of the activity that this data is describing. And what we're really interested in, though, is this Exchanges tab over here. When you click on this Exchanges tab, you get a list of both inputs and outputs. So here's our inputs here. And if I scroll down just a little bit, here's our outputs. We'll come back to the inputs. Let's talk about the outputs first. So these are the outputs directly associated with this specific step. And there's a lot of outputs here. We're interested in only the outputs that pertain to global warming. So we're interested in carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide or nitrogen oxides. So you can see here first I want to show you the top output here is the actual aluminum. So this is what you're doing, this whole step is for. And this tells us that all of these other outputs are based on 1,000 kilograms of aluminum. So for every 1,000 kilograms of aluminum produced, we can look down here at the carbon dioxide fossil and see that 1,520 kilograms of carbon dioxide are produced. So that's what we would want to enter into our spreadsheet. We used an Excel spreadsheet to record all this data and to do the calculations that we needed to do to actually get the specific numbers for the 3 sets of furniture that we used. We can look down here further here's methane and nitrous oxide, so we would also use these 0.357 kilograms of methane and 0.110 kilograms of nitrous oxide. So those are the outputs. Those are the greenhouse gases specifically for this step in the process. But if we want to look at the whole process, then we have to look at the inputs that came into this process. So scrolling back up to the inputs, we've got several different inputs here. And we need to actually explore all of these to look at how we ended up with how we got this far in the process. So notice alumina at plant. So we've got 1,930 kilograms of alumina at plant. That's necessary in order to get this 1,000 kilograms of primary aluminum down here. So we want to look at this first then. What greenhouse gas emissions are associated with this input? So to do that, we'll go back to our results and we'll scroll down, and you see here alumina at plant. So when I click on this, we've got the same thing. This is describing the specific step in the process that this data is pertaining to. And then if we go to the exchanges tab, we get the same deal. So we get inputs, and if I scroll down, we get outputs. So looking at the outputs first, with this step of producing alumina, we've got, it looks like there is no carbon dioxide emitted here. There is some methane emitted, so we'd want to record that. And it looks like there are no nitrogen oxides emitted here. So it's just the methane with this step. But then we'd have to branch out from this one. We have to look at all the inputs necessary to produce this alumina at plant. So you just keep stepping it backwards. It's like a tree that keeps branching out. And you need to keep stepping back until you get to the actual bauxite mine. So that's a good sign that we're getting close to the source here. So as we find all these other inputs, stepping back those as well, we'll eventually get back to extracting the raw material itself. And once we've done that, then we can sort of move forward again and connect all of our calculations together to figure out how much it took to get however much actual aluminum that we needed for the furniture. And we do the same thing for the plastics and for the wood products as well. So that's just a little intro into this database. There's a lot of information here, a lot of stuff that can be done, and I encourage you to explore it yourself and have fun.